Welcome to Bexar County County Court at Law number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. Plea and motion to revoke probation docket. Today is Thursday, July 8th, 2021 at approximately 10:25 hours. The cases we have set for today. For pleas, we have State of Texas versus Jacob Juergens, cause 660512, represented by Mr. Eduardo Garcia. We have State of Texas versus Daniel Grant, cause 657009, represented by Mr. Aldous Strouch. And we have a Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion plea and probation agreement. State of Texas versus David Escamilla, cause 652040, represented by Mr. Luis Martinez. On the motion to revoke probation docket, we have State of Texas versus Henry Salazar, cause 655880, represented by Mr. Wayne Young. State of Texas versus Precious Morton, cause 509755, represented by Mr. Jaime Pesantes, and cause 623643, State of Texas versus Salman Haqqani, represented by Mr. Austin Hagee. We'll start with the plea. Cause 660512, State of Texas versus Jacob Juergens, cause 657009, State of Texas versus Daniel Grant, and cause 652040, State of Texas versus David Escamilla. Previously mentioned, Mr. Juergens is represented by Mr. Garcia, Mr. Grant is represented by Mr. Strouch, and Mr. Martinez is represented by Mr. Escamilla. Representing the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office are Assistant Criminal District Attorneys Alexis O'Connor and Guillermo Flores. Gentlemen, in each of these cases, I'm now looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference that purports to have both the defendant and the attorney's signature on it. Mr. Juergens, in cause 660512, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia, as attorney for Mr. Juergens, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Mr. Grant, in cause 657009, is this your signature on the defendant's consent to plea by video conference? Mr. Grant, your microphone is turned off. There you go.
Yeah, say it again.
Is this your signature on the defendant's consent to plea by video conference document, sir?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. And Mr. Strauss, as attorney for Mr. Grant, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Escamilla, cause 652040, is this your signature on the defendant's consent to plea by video conference document?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Martinez, as attorney for Mr. Escamilla, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at for each of you is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions, that purports to have each defendant's signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Juergens, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Grant, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Escamilla, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Each of you, by signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys, so that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Mr. Juergens?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Mr. Grant?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And is that correct, Mr. Escamilla?
Yes, Your Honor.
As attorney for Mr. Juergens, Mr. Garcia, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? In your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Strouch, same question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Martinez, same question.
Yes, Your Honor, I have.
Mr. Juergens, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Grant.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Escamilla.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Garcia, as attorney for Juergens, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, they have, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Strouch, as attorney for Mr. Grant.
Yes, Your Honor, they have.
Same question for Mr. Martinez, as attorney for Mr. Escamilla.
Yes, Your Honor, the state has.
I'm noticing on cause 660512, State of Texas versus Jacob Juergens, Pat, administratively, on the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, it does not have a mark. It should be marked, quote, is a plea bargain case, and the defendant has no right of appeal.
Yes, sir.
And let's see. Mr. Jurgens, the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon / handgun, I guess is what it is. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, sir.
Okay, your paperwork says guilty. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. Mr. Garcia, how do you want your client to plead?
If he wants to plead no contest, Judge, I'll go ahead and allow him to do that.
The paperwork on the defendant's waiver of constitutional rights and court's admonitions to reflect no contest. Is there an agreement in this case, State?
Actually, sir, can I plead guilty, sir? For the plea agreement?
I'm sorry, Mr. Connor, do you care what the plea is?
No, Judge.
All right, so unless the defense objects, the court's going to accept a plea of no contest to the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon, to wit, a handgun.
I have no objection, Judge.
Is that all right? So, State, is there an agreement for Mr. Jurgens?
12 months deferred adjudication, a $200 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service, a gun safety course, a motion to forfeit the weapon, and a no contact order with Jerry Siller.
Bring me up to speed. What is Jerry Siller's participation in this incident that we have a no contact order?
There was a another offense report mentioned in this offense report. The defendant and Jerry Siller lived in the same apartment complex, and there was some friction between the two.
Mr. Garcia, is there any reason why Mr. Jurgens needs to have any contact with Mr. Siller?
No, Judge, none whatsoever.
Okay. And is that your understanding of the agreement, Mr. Garcia?
It is, Judge.
What kind of handgun is this?
Really don't know, Judge. I think it's a 9mm.
Hey, Mr. Jurgens, what manufacturer handgun is this?
It was a Ruger, sir.
All right. In lieu of destroying it, Mr. Garcia, I'll award it to you under the agreement that is not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friends. Do you want to do that, or do you want to destroy it?
Destroy it, Your Honor.
All right, we'll destroy it. Okay, Mr. Jurgens, in cause 660-512, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon, to wit, a handgun. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation, and sets a $200 fine plus court cost, 36 hours community service, a firearm safety course. Motion to destroy the weapon is granted, and the defendant to have no contact with Jerry Siller. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Jurgens?
Judge, from the defense, a suggestion of true name. His name is spelled Jakob. Jacob with a K instead of a C.
Okay, Pat,
So-
let's administratively get the spelling correct. Instead
I
of
will,
Jacob, Jakob. Okay?
Okay, Your Honor.
Anything else,
That's-
Eddie?
No, Judge, thank you very much.
All right. Good luck, Mr. Jurgens. Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Judge.
Hold
Thank you,
on.
sir.
Was he placed on probation?
Yes, deferred.
Susan, do you want to say anything?
Yes, you will be contacted by the probation department within 48 hours. And they will contact you by the information that you have provided on the data sheet. So it'll either be via telephone, text, or email. If you have not heard from them by Monday afternoon, you need to call the probation department Tuesday morning. I'll give you a telephone number, so write this down, please.
Yes, ma'am.
It's going to be 210-335-7446. It is your responsibility to make sure that these documents get signed, because if you do not sign these documents, then a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Okay, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, back on the record, we're now on cause 657-009, Tita, Texas versus Daniel Grant. Mr. Grant, to the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon, I'm assuming to wit, a handgun. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
And state, is there an agreement for Mr. Grant?
4 days in the Bexar County Jail, a $200 fine plus court cost, credit for time served, time and money run concurrent, and we ask this be a J for that judge.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement? Aldous, can you hear me?
You're muted.
Sorry about
there
that.
you go. No problem.
Pardon me. That is our understanding, Judge. We heard her read that in to the
And-
record, and that's our understanding.
What kind of handgun is this? Do we know?
I think it's a 9mm also. Mr. Grant, can you answer that question?
Mr. Grant, do you know what manufacturer handgun this thing was or is? I don't see Mr. Grant anymore. Is he still? Oh, his name is still there. Mr. Grant,
Yeah.
can you hear us? There you are.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
Yeah, it's a Glock 26.
It's a what now? Glock
A
22?
Glock 26.
In lieu of destroying this thing, Mr. Strauss, I'd be willing to award it to you as additional attorney's fees under the agreement. It is not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friends. Do you want this thing or do you want to destroy it?
No, I'll take you up on that, Judge. Thank you.
Weapon is awarded to attorney as an additional attorney's fees, not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friends. State's motion to destroy the weapon is respectfully denied. Okay, Mr. Strauss, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Grant, in cause 657-009, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon, to wit a handgun. I find you guilty. I assess 4 days in the Bexar County Jail, a $200 fine plus court cost. Credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied, handgun to be awarded to defense counsel as additional attorney's fees, not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friends. State's motion to destroy the weapon is respectfully denied. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Grant?
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Grant. Thank you, Mr. Strout.
All right, thank you, Judge.
And Mr. Yeah, he's
All
on.
right.
Okay, we come to cause 652-040. State of Texas versus David Escamilla. This is a Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, track 1, pretrial diversion, plea and probation agreement. Mr. Escamilla, to the charge of driving while intoxicated. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Okay, your paperwork says no contest. With the defense permission, I'm gonna change that to guilty.
Judge,
Is that
that's
okay,
fine.
Mr. Martini? All right. And Pat, we need to administratively change that.
Guilty or no contest, Your Honor?
It's set, right now the paperwork says no contest, but we're changing it to guilty.
Okay, I'll let them know.
Okay, court accepts your plea of guilt, holds it in abeyance, places you on 1 year, Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, track 1, pretrial diversion probation. Assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, outpatient drug with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider, Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day for 6 months, requiring successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSC and VTC staff. Defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Judge. And I need to ask Mr. Escamilla. I think he's done some of his stuff up front. If he has, we just ask him to get credit for anything he's done.
Anything he's done proactively, for instance, if you took any of these courses, DWI education, victim impact panel, he just needs to provide proof of that to his probation officer, and he certainly gets proactive credit, no problem. And I give him +10 for doing that for us.
Wonderful.
All right, now, the next document I have for Mr. Escamilla is entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney and the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the terms and prerequisites for your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Escamilla?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Martinez, I believe I have your law partner's signature, Mr. Robert Price. Would that be his signature?
I believe so, Judge.
All right. And then, Ms. O'Connor, I believe I have Mr. Nicholas Maru, your former trial partner, now replaced by your much more competent and better looking trial partner, Mr. Flores. Is that correct?
Correct.
I'm in trouble now. Okay. Mr. Escamilla, it looks like we're good to go. What'd you do in the military, sir?
I'm actually a military police, Your Honor.
Are you still active duty? Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I hit 20 years this November, and like I said last time, the breakdown from Afghanistan is running really high right now, as you can see in the news.
But you're not in Afghanistan, right?
No. I'm trying to get there, Your Honor. I'm trying to do my country.
Now it's probably not a really good time to go, just to give you my 10 cents worth. But, okay, so you assigned at Fort Sam Houston, or where are you assigned?
Lackland Air Force Base.
You're at Lackland, so you're Air Force Security Police Officer. And what is your rank at this time?
E8.
All right. When we get closer to you successfully finishing all this, be sure to talk to Mr. Martinez about getting your case expunged. It's going to be very important to your career progression. Obviously, you're a very senior NCO and everybody's mad at you. Would that be more or less accurate?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm just trying to turn the page. I made a mistake, and I'm trying to get on with life.
You're the man. Well, we'll help you every way we can. Anything further from the State of the Defense on Master Sergeant Escamilla?
Judge Christian, this is Josh Childers, BTC.
Yeah.
I think there may have been some confusion because of his active duty status. He was allowed to do a no contest plea. Is that not correct, Ms. O'Connor?
That's correct.
So
It doesn't matter to me. Oh, you want to change the plea to no contest, Lewis? That's what the original paperwork said.
Judge, that's what we had done. I didn't think it made a difference, but if there's any indication it makes a difference, then let's be safe and do the no contest.
In my opinion, it makes a big difference if he's active duty. So the court at this time is going to accept the defendant's plea of no contest as originally represented on the paperwork and not guilty. Is that okay with you, Mr. Escamilla?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll have your attorney explain the difference for you. And Mr. Martinez, I assume that's okay with you.
That's perfectly fine, and I want to thank Mr. Childers for pointing that out to us.
All right, and State, that's okay with you, I assume.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Good luck, Mr. Escamilla. Thank you, Mr. Martinez. And Josh, does anybody need to, I assume Ron's going to get in touch with Mr. Escamilla, or how's that going to work?
that is correct. Mr. Escamilla, Mr. Morrow will be calling you right after you log out here, okay?
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Good luck. Y'all cut loose.
Okay, Your Honor, Mr. Young and the inmate are in a breakout room so they can talk and sign the paperwork.
Let them take their time. We'll start on these other cases. We're now going to our motion to revoke probation docket. The first case on my docket is cause 509755, State of Texas versus Precious Morton, represented by Mr. Jaime Pesantes. And let's see, this technically is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Representing the Bexar County District Attorney's Office are Ms. Alexis O'Connor and Mr. Guillermo Flores. Representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. And my understanding, Mr. Pesantes, is this is an uncontested motion to adjudicate. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I've conferred with the state, and I wanted to have an opportunity to explain the circumstances that led to my client's absconding for this year.
Okay. Well, I'll listen to the recommendation in just a moment. Let me start off with, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Ms. Morton, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. Pesantes, as attorney for Ms. Morton, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal, unquote. Is this your signature on this document, Ms. Morton?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Pesantes, as attorney for Ms. Morton, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. At this time, on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, how does Ms. Morton plead?
True.
Okay. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Ms. Morton's probation, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Morton has performed very poorly on probation in that she only reported one time. We've not seen or heard from her since April 1st of 2016. She did pay $208 towards her fees and has a balance of $611. No community service was assessed. She did have one negative drug test. We have no proof of completion or enrollment of a theft class. She has no criminal history, and we are recommending that her probation be revoked. The case expired August 31st, 2016.
So on her probation, she's paid some money and she still owes $600. That sound right?
611, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And did she complete any programs or do anything else?
No.
Okay. Mr. Pasantis, over to you. Can you explain why Ms. Morton decided not to participate in our probation program?
Yes, Your Honor, I can. So Miss Morton was arrested in 2016, and later in that year, she met a man who would lure her into Houston, who would eventually become her exploiter. And then she was in an exploitative situation, and she was trafficked, Your Honor, until she was 19. She was under unsafe conditions. She didn't have control of her finances. She ultimately reached out to Rescue Houston. It's a nonprofit that helps women who have been in these situations, an emergency shelter, Your Honor. And they directed Ms. Morton to Red Oak in 2019. It's an Austin nonprofit that helps women who have been victims of human trafficking, like Ms. Morton here. And she has remained with them since 2019. She's currently still living with them. She is getting some GED classes done. She has case managers. She's completed theft courses, Your Honor. And I stepped into this case because I try to do what I can in situations of extreme injustice as it relates to human trafficking or human rights, Your Honor. So my request for the court, and with prior conversations with the state, is that you would allow her to terminate or discharge her probation, given the understanding that she has gone through some completely unhumane situations, Your Honor, and she has completed theft courses. She does not have any money. She's still living at the shelter, Your Honor, of the Red Oak nonprofit. And for your ease of reference, Your Honor, one of the staff members from Red Oak is here with us today, Heather Moga, Your Honor, and she will be happy to answer any questions that you may have as it relates to the casework that Red Oak and Rescue Houston both engage upon in helping women who have been victims of trafficking, Your Honor.
Okay, we'd like to hear from her. Can you move your camera back on her and tell me her name again, please?
Heather Moga.
Hi. Ma'am, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to help you God?
I do.
Defense, your witness. Please clarify for us exactly what's going on with Ms. Morton.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Morton is currently living at Red Oak, is a nonprofit in Austin, and Ms. Heather Moga here is willing and able to answer any questions or clarifications that you may have as it relates to the casework that Red Oak has and how Ms. Morton has been receiving help. And she's trying to get help getting back on her feet since 2019, after being trafficked for during 2017 and 2018 and 2019, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead, ma'am. Would you please clarify for us exactly what Ms. Morton's situation is in your safe house, or whatever it is you call it? I apologize.
Yes, no, that's appropriate. Red Oak Hope is an organization that works to bring freedom, hope, and restoration to survivors of trafficking and exploitation. We were introduced to Precious through a referral from Rescue Houston, which, as Jaime said, provides emergency shelter and case management for a short amount of time. And their goal is often to help women seek sort of a next step of stabilization, particularly with regards to shelter and housing. And so we were able to accept Precious into our program in early 2019 or end of spring 2019, where she has been a client of ours since. The goal of our programs are to help women move towards stability, health, and independence, overcoming the experiences, the trauma in their life regarding exploitation and trafficking. And so through our program, we're able to provide stable housing, comprehensive case management, holistic care, and really any other services women need to kind of get from where they are to where they want to be. And so for Precious, this has looked like housing, support, case management, and any other advocacy she needs to move towards things like completion of a GED, seeking full-time employment, and other forms of employment as she's been going through classes over the last couple years.
Is Ms. Morton employed at this time?
She is. She works part-time with a social enterprise that's called Freely. She just wrapped up her first round of GED classes, which were more or less full-time, but through American Youth Works, they also were able to provide a stipend for her through classes. And she just completed the first level of a community health worker certification that she'll continue to be able to work on. She's also currently enrolled in Instacart and will be increasing her hours now that classes have stopped for a brief amount of time.
Okay, State, do you have any questions?
Not at this time, Judge.
Anything further for defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Morton, can you afford to pay $611? Because in this hand, we have $611, and in this hand, we have 6 months in the Bear County Jail. Can you afford to pay $611 in the next 10 days?
No,
When can you afford to pay $611?
I'm not sure.
30 days? I thought you had a job.
Yeah, I have a job, but I also have bills too.
Okay, this is not a free ride deal. I've got several options here. And
Your Honor,
go ahead.
get her some money, Your Honor. Maybe 60 days, if that would be amenable to the court.
Would a nice lawyer like to lend her $611?
We'll find a way to get her the money, Your Honor. She doesn't.
What time frame are we looking at that she can come up with $611?
Can we do 2 months, Your Honor, 60 days?
No, 30 days max. Would that work?
Yes, sir.
All right. State, here's what I have in mind. Let me bounce it off both sides before I do it so everybody knows what's going on. In my opinion, Ms. Morton deserves 6 months in the Bear County Jail, but her attorney and her sponsor over at her organization are vouching for her, and I'm listening to what they have to say, that she has potential and she can turn her life around, and that's all wonderful, but that doesn't change anything she's done with us. So what I anticipate would be in her best interest would be, she did start paying some money to probation, so she gets plus 10 for that. She still owes what, $611, Susan, and it's gonna be $2 more for the processing fee.
Yes,
So
Your Honor.
$613. I'm going to revoke her. I'm going to find her guilty of the theft charge that she's been hiding from us for several years. And then I'm going to order her to go to the Bear County Jail for 6 months and report in 30 days. If she pays this $613 before the 30 days, I'll waive her jail sentence. Is that acceptable to the defense?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. State, is that acceptable to you?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Ms. Morton, is that acceptable to you? Because that means your lawyer is doing a really good job and you owe him a lot, because I was this close to just putting you in jail and being done with it.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank you. We your understanding of the situation.
I'm sorry?
Thank you, Your Honor. We appreciate your understanding of the situation.
Go ahead.
You're gonna ask me, so I was just gonna let you know her fine is $250.
Excellent. All right, Ms. Morton in clause 509755. The court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke probation. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of theft, $100 to $750. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bear County Jail. It says a $2,000 fine plus court cost, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. Your report to the Bear County Jail. What's 30 days from today? Let's see.
August 9th, Your Honor.
All right.
That's a Monday.
9:00 a.m. on August 9th. If you've not paid this $613, you report to Bear County Jail to do your 6 month jail sentence. But if you pay the $613, and if you do it tomorrow, I won't know you've done it. You got to let your attorney know. He'll let me know. Then all I do is send in to my clerks, alter and amend, waive jail sentence, and you're just free as a bird. And we wish you well, and we want you to do good. But we want you to also understand that it's a tough love situation, and not that we don't love you, but you still got to pay your price to society. So I'm going to put a value on that price. You owe us $613 instead of 6 months in jail. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. All good.
Thank you.
Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Morton?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right. Good luck, Ms. Morton. Thank you, Mr. Pasantis.
Thank you, sir.
Hang on just a second. Let me go off camera for a minute. I got people ringing my doorbell. I don't know what that's all about.
Mr. Young?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, did you get him to sign the paperwork?
I think I did.
Okay.
When I went up there, it says this document has already been completed.
All right, let me make sure so that I can send it to the judge, okay? Thank you.
Okay, but I'm a little at a loss. I don't know what's going on. What did we agree to?
I don't know what you agreed to. If you've spoken to the probation or whether you've spoken with the ADAs, this was assigned and this was set the 24th to be taken care of, and you were not able to appear. So the judge reset it for today. So I don't know, Mr. Young.
Well, I got the paperwork and I went through and signed off on all of it, so.
Okay, I believe he has not signed off yet. Did you talk to him about it and tell him to sign?
No, because he's in the jail and
Okay, what you need to do is go back to the breakout room, tell him to get a deputy to look for the paperwork with his name on it, and then to sign it.
okay. Let me see if I can get back to the,
You should be able to go back into the same room.
okay, and how do I do that? I'm sorry.
It should have still joined,
Join.
and you have a blue button there.
Okay, let me see if it'll work. Okay. Join a meeting, sign in.
Join, it should go into a breakout room. If not, let me see if I can move you to a different one and then move him. Hold on. Okay, now join.
Okay.
Okay, Your Honor.
Okay, back on the record. This is Bear County Court of Law number 6 and the Bear County Veterans Treatment Corps via Zoom. This is Judge Wayne Christian. It is approximately 11 o'clock a.m. on Thursday, the 8th of July, 2021. The next case I have in front of me is cause number 655-5880, State of Texas versus Henry Salazar, represented by Mr. Wayne Young.
Your Honor, they're still working and they're still working on it. So it would be Mr.
Okay. Let's try this again. Cause number 623-643, State of Texas versus Salman Haqqani, represented by Mr. Austin Hagee. Mr. Hagee, we ready on this one?
Yes, Your Honor. I mean,
Okay.
I'd like to, yes, I'm here, Your Honor.
All right. The first document I have you all to identify signatures on for me is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Mr. Haqqani, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Hagee, as attorney for Mr. Haqqani, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. Mr. Haqqani, is this your signature on this document, sir? Mr. Haqqani, there you go. You're good. Thank you, sir. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Thank you. And once again, Mr. Hagee, as attorney for Mr. Haqqani, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Once again, representing the state, we must have Alexis O'Connor, and representing the Bear County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who has been previously sworn. Mr. Hagee, my understanding is that this is an uncontested motion to adjudicate. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor, it's uncontested.
I understand when you enter a plea, we normally just entertain pleas of true with an explanation or not true with an explanation or whatever. And then, of course, you'll get a chance to explain or mitigate whatever's going on. Okay. So, Mr. Haqqani, in cause 623643, to the second amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Sure.
Question is, he's asking if it's true or untrue, the allegations against you.
Oh, true.
All right. We'll call it true with an explanation. Is that okay with the defense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Fair enough. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties the status of Mr. Haqqani's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Haqqani is not yet reported. He was just placed on probation on May the 5th of 2021. He has not made any payments to date, has a balance of $1,275 and is currently delinquent $262. We have no proof of completion of any of his 36 hours of community service. He has completed DWI education and victim impact panel. We have no proof of enrollment into the CATSNP program. He's currently on Smart Start Mobile testing at 4 times per day. He has had several high BRACs ranging from 0.02 to 0.033. In addition to that, he has also had someone else blowing into the device who is a unknown male to this department. Additionally, he has left the county without permission as registered by the Smart Start mobile device. And his officer is recommending that he be placed on a SCRAM device in lieu of a Smart Start mobile device. He has no criminal history. This is his first violation report and his first motion to revoke.
Okay, defense, what's going on, Mr. Akani?
Two things, Your Honor. First of all, the previous defense counsel was an appointed lawyer. I'm not going to throw them under the bus, but after my discussions with Mr. Haqqani, I do not think he really understood all of the terms of his deal and his probation, what was required of him. He did make quite a few mistakes, and he is willing to admit that. Since his violation, he has been doing everything correctly. He has completed his courses. I had a long talk with him, admonishing him on several of the things that he needs to do from this point forward, that he needs to blow. He informed me that the blow of the mail was a friend of his who thought it was fun to try and blow the machine and thought it was a cool thing to do. Obviously that, yeah, I don't know what that was about. However, he's a college student. He is pursuing a degree at UTSA in marketing with a concentration in real estate finance. He is trying to get that right. He does not have any criminal history. From my speaking with him, I don't think he was aware also. This is something he should have become aware of, but he wasn't aware that he wasn't supposed to drink at all while he was on probation. Obviously that is true, and he now knows that. So I'm optimistic that if he's given another chance, not to say he exactly deserves it, but if given another chance, I believe he will comply with all the court's orders and conditions and be able to avoid future violation reports or any other issues moving forward.
Judge, if I may.
Sure.
The defendant did go through an orientation process and he signed his conditions of probation. He received a copy of those conditions of probation. During that orientation, everything individually is explained to every defendant. So he was well aware that he could not drink and what his obligations to the court were.
Let me back up. He apparently entered a plea on May 5th, 2021. Does that sound right? So he would have technically gone on probation May 5th, 2021?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then he showed up for initial orientation and signed his conditions, correct?
Correct.
And then has he been back for any monthly reporting, or are y'all doing visual reporting on the computer? What are y'all doing since then?
No, he has not reported to his officer as of yet. He would have been given an appointment in the month of June. Why we have no record of him showing up at that time, I'm not sure. But he should have reported last month.
Okay, but that's not one of the allegations.
One question here.
Correct, because the original motion as filed was filed back in June.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Hagee. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No, that's fine, Your Honor. The question I had, are there any recorded attempts of his probation officer trying to reach out to him after orientation? Because Mr. Haqqani said he hasn't heard anything from that probation officer. Is a little confused about how they were supposed to report. I don't know if there are or not.
Ms. Gross, you would be the one that can answer that question.
Yes, I am. I'm looking that up right now. Give me about 2 seconds. Okay. All right, it looks like, no, that's Smart Start, sorry. It looks like he was scheduled for an appointment on June 16th. And I don't know if he didn't show up or what, but I'm showing that there has been no appointments made.
Okay, and Susan, while we're talking, reinforce for me, he owes $1,275 even, and if it was $2 more, it'd be $1,277 would be what the total cost would be. Does that sound right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hagee, here's where I'm at. I think you heard the last sentence on the last young lady. I don't know what Mr. Akani's problem is, but being caught 4 times drinking in 2 months is way ahead of the power curve. And on top of that, just letting somebody else blow in his machine is very egregious. However, under the circumstances, he's only been on probation a couple of months. Regardless what else happens, I'm going to revoke his deferred and find him guilty of the heinous offense of obstruction of a highway. But if he can live with that and he can pay us the $1,277 he owes us in the next, say, 10 days, I'm just going to wait and sentence him and give him 10 days to report to jail. And if he pays this money by 10 days, then I'm going to waive his jail sentence. Is that something that would be acceptable to the defense?
I just want to make sure I got it straight, Your Honor. If he can pay the $1,277 in the next 10 days, he'll have an obstruction conviction, and then his supervision will be terminated and he'll be done.
Sentence him to a maximum sentence of 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, but I'm going to give him 10 days to report for that. If he pays this $1,277 in those 10 days, I'm going to waive his jail sentence. So what, the downside is he gets a conviction for obstruction of a highway and he owes us $1,277. The upside is I don't have to send him to inpatient rehab and do all this other stuff, which I'm being as truthful as I can be. I don't think is going to work with Mr. Hakani. I don't think I can stop him from drinking, and we're just going to be here again. So this is the easy way out for the defense, so to speak. And I don't have to put Mr. Hakani really truly in jail, but that's kind of where we're headed. You want to go in a breakout room and talk to Mr. Hakani about this so that y'all can come together on what you'd like to do? That's
Yes,
what my
please.
offer is at this time. And state, is that okay with you? I know the state wants jail time. The state always wants jail time, but I think they'll let it go by this time. Why don't y'all put them in a breakout room, please, Pat? Let them chat as long as you want.
Number 3, room 3. I just put him in and you're ready to go in, Mr. Hague.
Okay.
Thank you. I'll be back shortly. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Your Honor, the paperwork should be coming to you. I believe Mr. Salazar has already signed it. We're just waiting for it to get to you. It has not gotten there yet, I believe.
Susan, my recommendation on that one is revocation.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're just waiting for it to go to you, Your Honor.
I've got it. I'm working on it.
Great, thank you.
Judge, I'll be back in 2 minutes, sir.
Take your time.
Pat, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can I talk to a prosecutor to see what they want in this case?
I can put you back into room 2 and I will put Alexis in there.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Alexis, go back to 2. Can you go back to 2, Mr. Young?
I will try. I'm not the
Okay.
sharpest tool on this.
Okay. All right, let me see what I can do. Okay. think he went in. Did you join? Now you can go into 4. You should be able to go back to 2. Do you see it? I can't hear you, Mr. Young. You need to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I put you in 2.
It tried to go to it and then it just bounced out. Let me see if I can get to it.
Do you see a join?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna first put you in 4, get you in 4, and then I'm going to move you to 2, okay?
Okay, I've got the.
I'll just put Alexis in 4. There you go. All right, now you should join. It should show you join. Hit it. There you go. All right.
Pat, your phone's ringing.
Okay. Wait a minute. I've got to get this to him. Okay.